It's been a while. Greetings and welcome aboard the ISS Dawn of Ra. Welcome to ShadowStar. I'm Captain Ri'shad, and this is a Star Trek Online Starship review. So please, members of the Federation, the Klingon Empire, the Romulan Republic, and our noble guests from the Dominion, please get comfortable. The replicators are at your disposal. And allow me to introduce you to the Constitution 3. In Star Trek Online's case, the Constitution 3 Miracle Worker Cruiser. There are people that feel like STO did this ship brilliantly. There are people that feel like STO got this ship wrong. Me personally, I'm a little bit caught between the two. Let me state now though, there are bugs involved with this ship. Yeah, not too many, but some. At least we're not having a visual problem this time around. Hey! And there is the other subject in question. So let me give you a warning now. The ship, which is the subject of this video, is primarily acquired through in-game gambling mechanics. I do not condone nor do I support the gambling mechanics, and I never will. Me being autistic, it should be obvious. There are alternative options, but I, for one, did find it extremely hard to get my hands on this ship. And as we go through some things, I'm not surprised. I would like to add right now though, that first of all, Hailscream, thank you for helping me get a hold of this ship. You were a major help in this situation. And thank you to my Patreons right now and the other donators of this channel for helping me get the funds together in order to be able to afford to try and get this ship. This ship could not be done without their support. With that being said, let's lock in now. We'll start off with simply talking about the stats, and then I will critique. So, we have a tier 6 ship, Federation and Federation Allied for its factions. Flyball, once you beat the tutorial, all this stuff is kind of duh. So let's get to the actual subject matter. Hull modifier 1.4, shield modifier 1.2, 4 forward weapons and 3 aft for device slots. It has a base turn rate of 9 and an impulse modifier of 15.15, sorry. Inertia rating of 40, equipped with a battle cloak, and, well, I'm kind of annoyed that they didn't do something with that, but we'll go there in a bit. Cruiser Commander A's to give you strategic maneuvering, weapon system efficiency, shield frequency modulation, and attract fire. The cylindrical quantum slipstream drive, innovation abilities, and the Starship Mastery Package is Cruiser. This will eventually provide you with kinetic and physical damage resistance buff, regeneration buff, energy and radiation damage resistance buff, and a maximum hull capacity buff. This ship is a Miracle Worker ship. Normally I scream when I see Miracle Worker. Why? Because I love Miracle Workers. I'm an energy guy. I like Miracle Workers. Miracle Worker ships are pretty good for support and also pretty good for energy. Happily, this isn't the ship of Theseus, so we're not seeing a stupid overkill level of Miracle Worker as well. Though I think in this scenario, people would much rather have had a second Miracle Worker seat versus what we got. You see, for this ship's consoles, it is a 4 tactical, 5 engineering, 2 science and 1 universal, Miracle Worker. And for its bridge officers, well, it's a Lieutenant Commander Tactical with Ensign Tactical. It is a Commander Science and Commander Engineering Bah! With Miracle Worker Specialization, a Lieutenant Commander Science, which is why I was getting a little bit hipped over one. Lieutenant Commander Science with Pilot Specialization. And finally, a Lieutenant Universal seat. Those again, to clarify, for those that got confused with my autistic stuttering and hyper-set mind. Oops. 2 tactical seats, 1 Lieutenant Commander, 1 Ensign. 1 engineering seat, Commander level, Miracle Worker Specialization. 1 science seat, Lieutenant Commander level, Pilot Specialization. And 1 Universal seat, Lieutenant level. Okay, first of all, I appreciate the pilot on this ship. Now, a lot of people think now going to be like, what? Tear him apart! No, dislike! But no, I appreciate the pilot on this ship. Purely because of the way we saw this ship in the show. We saw it being very maneuverable, agile, pulling off some nice artistic flying, so to speak. And as a result, I kind of respect pilot. I want to rock and roll with the ship, okay? I'm inclined to pull off the scene from the show and do a rock and roll to do so. Miracle Worker makes a whole lot of sense on this ship, let's be fair. If they had gone with command specialization on this ship, I would have been okay with it. But I definitely would not have been happy with intelligence, purely because... What have we seen in the show? Okay. There's other things I want to jip on. Now, happily, Cryptic didn't do anything in regards to stating it as a refit, because if we go by the actual definition of a refit, I'm sorry guys, but the USS Titan, the Constitution 3 USS Titan A, is not a refit. Just gonna hammer that on home because it really aggravates me. But by definition, it's not a refit. The Lunar Class Titan was salvaged and its components used to construct the Titan A. It was not a refit, it was salvaged. There is a defining difference. I was kind of hoping to see some level of salvage on this ship to say how it was constructed from a previous generation. So the Lieutenant Commander Science is quite nice to see on this ship, but I was very much hoping to see this ship would be a little bit stronger in the sciences as a result. It's a cruiser, but if we consider what this ship is, it's supposed to be a highly maneuverable, very agile cruiser, also referable to as maybe a heavy destroyer or battle cruiser. And honestly, if I was going to do this ship, I would have done it with one extra forward weapon, one less aft, because this ship was more heavily armed towards the forward than it was the rear. Pointing that out. And honestly speaking, I would have given it much higher base turn rate and would probably have made it a battle cruiser. Drop some of that shield strength and maintain the hull strength, and I'd called it a battle cruiser. Hell, if you wanted to give it some more of that science side of it, I'd have made it a very weird battle cruiser and actually lowered the hull strength and given it greater shield strength. Swap those two around just to emulate the science side of it. And if Cryptic really wanted to be good, they could have given us a science battle cruiser or a science cruiser. Called it the Miracle Worker Science Cruiser. And in that situation, instead of having Commander Engineering, had a Commander Science and the Lieutenant Commander Engineering. Swap those two around. Made it weird. Yeah. There's a lot I want to argue this. I mean, I get it. The captain, sure, he came up through the engineering track and he's an incredible engineer. He knows a lot. But I just want to put it this way. The captain is not the ship. The ship is not the ship by what they define it as. So I would have loved to have seen aspects of the old ship being in the new one, just to make it feel a little bit more like a refit. But I will applaud Cryptic's approach. Having this 4.4 set out and a 1.4 for hull modifier and relatively decent console setup has led to this ship being very useful and strong to most players. And it also breaks away from the Lunar class for the Constitution 3 and makes it feel like every Constitution has been. The Constitution in its various refits along the same space frame that makes it a refit, not a reconstruction or anything like that, were all cruisers. And the Enterprises have been various variants of cruisers. So, the ship being a cruiser, the ship being a 4.4 layout with some endurance, I like it. And this ship is a very good hull tank. Very good regenerative hull tank. This ship has a lot of functioning capabilities DPS wise, especially when it comes to things we'll discuss later. And its only real weak spot is support. But we can argue with that. Now, X upgrade this ship, you get that one extra universal console, and then I want to bring something in. This is the first bug I'm going to bring up. A lot of people in DPS community use vulnerability locators, right? Well, right now you cannot equip them. No, seriously, I mean... Oh, sweet holy moly! No, God damn this place. Oh, I can't even go to another location. Well, this is fun. Hey, guys, guess what? You scared me off. Bye-bye now. Whew! The Endora System. Peace, quiet, and tranquility. Yeah, when you have to come to the Endora System to get away. That's never a good sign, is it? Well, guys, where was I going into? Oh, yeah. Oh. I remember. Oh, unusual setup right now. Hey, don't you think, guys? My ship, a little bit unusual. Why am I using these? Well, other than the fact I've been testing recently, so I was having a bit of fun. No. Anyone see the problem down there? I'll give you a clue. Give you a really big clue. Ooh, vulnerability locators, critical chance boost, phaser boost. I think I want to use that. What do you mean? You do not meet the requirements for this item. Really? Now I don't know if that's a bug with the ship or what it is, but that's not right. Okay. Donkey. Yeah. A little bit annoying. A few bugs going on. Just a few. Making a mess of things. Well, first of all, this. Okay guys, so I'm going to take an opportunity now to bring up what I've been doing in testing. Because testing has been interesting. So while doing some weapon testing on this ship, and yes, I'm using a very odd setup, I will have things to say about this somewhere else. I've got a discussion video going out, but once I've done a complete set of testing, I'm going to be making a more refined video to talk about it. But yeah, I'm utilizing the new advanced consoles as a tactical player to gain what engineers are absolutely brilliant at, while also maintaining that what tactical is good at. Not quite at the same high peak level, but I'm still around it, and that is interesting. But the weapons are the subject right now, so let's focus, okay? First of all, let's discuss them. The Phaser Narrow Beam Standard Array. For a decrease in firing arc of 40 degrees, this weapon having a 210 degree firing arc, you get 1,602 phaser damage with a DPS rate of 1,282 DPS per second. This is under my current modifications as well. Bearing in mind that all 5 of those engineering consoles that you can see there are boosting phaser damage. My Lorca console is boosting phaser damage. My Domino is boosting phaser damage. And thanks to my Point Defense Bombardment console, I'm boosting phaser damage there as well. That's not the side effects of boosting beam weapon output, energy weapons, and all the other stuff I'm doing there, directed energy weapons. I'm doing a lot to boost weapons. So, not the stat you're all going to get, but it's a good stat. Though, keep this in mind, because the reason I'm bringing up all these things I've used to build the weapon up is they're all percentage increases. That's a percentage versus its base level. So where the base levels of all these weapons may actually be close in certain areas, once you do the percentage increases, they're not so close. Where am I going with this? Well, the narrow beam does, as stated, deal more damage than a standard beam array does, but it has some negatives as well. First up, we're going to bring up what those negatives are. One is the proc modifier. You cannot re-engineer the proc modifier. In the current climates, where you probably want to modify for crit hit times 4 or crit damage times 3, this is a problem. This is a serious problem, and I am not happy about it. Not in the slightest. It really hacks me off. Sorry, it just does. That needs to be changed, Cryptic. The crit hit also needs to be changed, to be fair. Why is that locked in? What are you doing? You haven't done this kind of rubbish since Phased Tetrion and Phased Polaron. Please, Cryptic, release them. Let us modify them. Otherwise, still being said though, we do have 2 free sets that you can modify. The special bonus and the 2 standards. Does mean though that to compare these against each other, I've had to re-engineer other weapons just to kind of see where they fall in line. How did this play out? Well, bear in mind this is an agony phaser at full strength, and we don't care about any of that lower part. All we care about is the phaser damage output. We got 1,412 phaser damage at its peak strength. Damage times 4. Okay. 1,129 DPS. Comparing that to the narrow beam, the narrow beam, despite having only 2 damage modifiers, is still stronger. So if we actually balanced it out, yeah, that's the re-engineered one. So I lose the extra damage damage modifiers. That drops then to 1,400-ish, and wait, what a second? Oh yeah, 1,400-ish. If I'm willing to round it up and that, well, that says something, doesn't it? Obviously, these are stronger. Turns out, despite only 40 degrees being lost, and to give you guys an idea, there's standard. Ready? That's standard. That's narrow. Standard. Narrow. You can still broadside with this console. Sorry, this weapon. It's still useful to broadside builds. It just requires more accurate piloting. And it is a shame that you are limited to only 2 of these. You cannot have any more. But that is sizable. That effect, that alone, means I'm sorry if you are a Firework Wheel player or broadside player. Sorry, Stu 1701. I heard what you said about this. You're going to want this. Even with just that mid-level output in modification and upgrade, it hits harder than your standard beams wheel, and as such will make any beam array, single beam array build more powerful. Just requires piloting skill, and well, most broadside players know how to utilize this arc anyway, so oops. Hey, guess what? Turns out this ship is really worthwhile picking up. Just on that alone, if you are, as I said, someone like myself who really appreciates Firework Wheel, really appreciates broadside builds. And then we get into this. Oh, this is going to hurt. Hey, there's the damage times 4 modified phaser, dealing 1,800? Oh, 1,470 DPS. Oh, wait, what have we said here about the difference in damage output? 1,700 for the one that's more in line with that narrow beam. 1,741 phaser damage with a 1,400 DPS capability versus it's safe to say you're losing in each scenario. It's about 200 damage output difference, both DPS and physical damage. So, lose firing arc, gain 200 damage output. Greatly drop your firing arc, gain 200 damage output. Do you hear what I just said? Greatly drop your damage output and lose 200. Sorry, greatly drop your targeting arc. This is 90 degrees. This isn't comparable. Watch. 1, 2. 1, 2. For anyone utilizing forward biased builds on a ship that has more limited maneuverability, it is actually somewhat worthwhile to drop something with the strength of a damage times 4 dual beam for these narrow beams with a damage times 3. Well, not damage times 3, damage times 2 and an extra half damage modifier on your second bit. Yeah. Damn, these weapons turned out to be really good. Really good. I can actually see myself going forwards continuously using these weapons for any of my phaser builds. And I'm hoping that we will see a disruptor variant, a plasma variant as a result, purely because fudge, this ended up being such a good weapon. Take away the nerf of only being able to use 2 of them, and you could see a complete change of weapon choice. Probably end up seeing people no longer using standard beam arrays on ships. It's probably why they didn't do it, because otherwise standard beam arrays become nigh on obsolete. Hell, this is damaging to dual beams. Okay, so refocusing. Let me calm myself down because I'm that happy over these weapons. Let's take a look at the Bioelectric Wave capacitor. Okay, so on to talking about the console, and well, this is where things get really interesting again. So I've just gone to grab something because turns out that you can improve your own DPS output and be a super troll simultaneously. This is probably also going to be one of those situations where I eat my words on what I said about these consoles. Sorry, the weaponry, the narrow beam array, because you definitely want to be using dual beams in this scenario. Why? Because this new console that you get with this ship works really well when used in a certain fashion. First of all, I'm going to explain it, and then we will get into this. The major things you're going to want to keep in mind is this. When I was doing my speculation video that none of you got to see now, big thanks to Hellscream helping me get a hold of this ship, I was speculating whether or not this console for the ship would be working as a massive circular wave and just go exploding outwards and expanding, or if it would be like, Cowabunga, dude! Oh, I'm never doing that again, I'm so sorry. Riding the wave. Well, it turns out it's riding the wave, which is accurate to the show, I guess. This is important. Why? Passive abilities of this console. 19.9 energy damage boosting. Plus 39.9 bonus electrical damage. You guys know how much I love electrical damage. And plus 5 to weapon subsystem power. Hey, with everything I've been doing at the moment, that's very appreciated. But then you had the Bioelectric Wave. This shockwave that propels and powers the ship. Launch a Bioelectric Wave forward of your trajectory for 30 seconds. For 30 seconds, people. To foes, apply Bioelectric Wave. And for each second the target is in the drag affected cone, this is less a cone and more a linear wave, they will get 49,611 electrical damage once per activation per foe. Did you read that? Each second the target is within a 140 degree aft cone. There's a weird situation with this, and I'm going to explain it in a second, because if you combine the two together, it's a little bit bugged. But to your friends, well, it will apply Bioelectric Wave and will give you plus 15 to all subsystem current power. That's epic. Per second in the wave. And will also give you plus 627.5 turn rate strength while in the wave. Plus flight speed at full throttle, similar to the wave. Yeah, that's the thing. That plus flight speed allows you to full throttle accelerate ahead of the wave. But if you just hold back, you can sit in the wave. Say, 3/4 impulse. And if you wish to combine the effects of this console in a way that will boost your own capabilities, because it boosts you as well as your allies, you could combine it with the Zenstor console or the Zenstor ship, the Shran Graviton Displacer. You know what that does, right? I'll give you an idea. You are proceeding. You are at the right speed to stay in the wave. Release the wave. You now accelerate and hold with the wave. Oops, you want to decelerate. Keep yourself in that wave. Yep, a little bit hard to do, but you can get yourself up to a good speed. Now you use the displacer. Uh-oh. Now you're keeping enemies in it. So let's reduce speed and... Oh! You're still in the wave, but you're at the back half of the wave and in the back part of the cone. You know what that does, right? Pilot that well, and you maintain all the benefits of the cone. Sorry, all the benefits of the wave, while also making sure all the negative benefits of the wave are on the enemy. The only downside to that is, well, you can see how far I've flown. Yeah, you will be dragging enemies away from your allies. So unless your allies are ready for what you're doing and they all get into the wave as well and fly with you through the wave on the group of enemies you've now captured, you're going to be the only one benefiting from it. This is a console which, when utilized with teamwork, will result in immense potential of output. Not overkilling it, but will give you lots of damage output, sustain your allies, give them extra abilities, and let them really just slap on home. The only problem is the control boat's going to hate you. This is the console which I do think needs a little bit of an extra buff, because the requirements to sustain its benefits are negligible. So this is a console which 90% of the time is not going to achieve its full output ability. But if utilised right, with the right people in the right way, you will find this is a very, very strong console to get. Definitely works well alongside our narrow beams, but, well, and it's to say, if you want to wave backwards and forth, I'm sure you can find a way to utilise that. Hello, USS Merlin. Any hoot. Okay, and then we can get on to the trait. Thunder Run. Let me do this in a bit of an odd order, okay? How do I do this? Right. Support players, like myself. We're in a weird scenario here. If you are a DPS support, as in you functionally need high firepower, you need higher DPS because you are trying to deal with the more powerful enemies, the ones that are the biggest threat to the DPS players, that is DPS support. You're not trying to... A DPS support player is not trying to get amazing DPS by hitting everything and doing maximum damage output. They are trying to deal maximum damage to a singular threat. That is DPS support. Of course, Beam Overload is very useful to this style of play. One big thing though, Beam Overload, massive amount of support already. And quite frankly, better traits already existing to succeed in DPS support. Hell, if you have the Tarantula Dreadnought, you might know where I'm going with this. So, not so great off the start. And as support DPS, also not so great. Support overall, again, not so great. Support trait, no, definitely not. DPS trait, well, obviously, there are elements of DPS that ain't gonna give a damn about this trait. Hello, cannons and kinetic builds. You don't care. Side DPS. You don't care. Well, you might care a little bit, but considering what you're trying to do, side DPS, don't. Hello, energy DPS and beam builds. Well, oh, okay, cannons are energy DPS too, but specifically beam build DPS. Are you happy? I mean, Beam Overload is not something you're going to get really overly hyped for. We've got lots of support for that. Firework Wheel. Those of us that really enjoy Firework Wheel. Oh, I'm happy about this. Disappointing to see that it is yet another promo ship that has got the Firework Wheel trait. Cryptic, you ass bunkers. But still a good trait. During Firework Wheel, Beam Overload, or Cloaking Ambush, you'll gain a plus 20% to your bonus beam damage. That is bonus damage, meaning Cat 2. If you have Threatening Stance active, you get 150 threat generation. So where do you think I go from here? Hi, tanks. Yes. The answer is yes. Yes. And if you're wondering about that 0+0 for defense rating, scaling with speed, watch how quickly that reaches its peak. Quarter impulse. Not there yet. Let's increase speed. Well, I can't do a tiny bit, but... Oh! Did you see it? I kid you not. Just slightly above quarter impulse. And you will find yourself at the maximum defense rating. Now, I'm not complaining. Not at all. I'm just saying you get there quickly. Now, the defense rating isn't too big of a deal. It's great for your tanks. Most of us otherwise aren't really going to be worrying too much on that. So, fine, tanks. You just have to be up at quarter speed. So, to me, that's very useful to your tanks. Especially considering most of your tanks are flying in super fast and then just hovering around building up your threat. So, yeah, it's a good trait in that regards. Let's rank these out of... I'm going to do it out of 10 because I work on that basis. So, yes, guys, I know a lot of you prefer the 5-star rating. Personally, because of what I work with, this is my work life. And advocacy scores I work best with out of 10. This results in, I'll do it in sort of reverse order this time. Thunder Run trait. Support, 0 out of 10. Should be obvious why. Okay, I'll give it 1 out of 10 because support can utilise it. It's just way too many better options. DPS. Well, just when I say DPS, I'm sort of rounding the whole lot in. That would result in it being a 4 or 5 out of 10. But if I focus purely on the beam aspect of it, and especially the Firework Wheel, I will give this trait 7 out of 10 to 8 out of 10, mostly because of the improvements there. Tanks. This one is getting 8 out of 10, easy. I'm inclined to give it 9. And the only reason I'm not going to give it 10 out of 10 is because for 10 out of 10, I would have liked it that if you increase your speed up to half, you'd have had plus 25 to defense rating. Like, had it scaling, so you quickly grow at first, and then as you get towards the top end, it slows down. Just a little bit more defense rating out of this, and I'd have gone perfect. I think the threat generation is about right anyway. You've got loads of ways to generate threat regardless. Okay. Console. This beautiful console. Honestly, I'm quite a big fan of it, but because of the technical requirements to utilize it to its maximum effect, that is going to be a down mark on it. The result being, as far as support goes, I will give this 7 out of 10. It is most effective in support roles. As far as DPS goes, thanks to its passive boosting, I will also give it 7 out of 10. As far as tanking goes, due to its awkward use method, I'm going to give it 2 out of 10. An overall score of 7 out of 10. This is mostly because the passives are useful to everyone. The weapons. Hello. Very often I'm ranking weapons, is it? Well, the phaser narrow beam array, due to its very interesting use and the fact that as far as broadsides go, it's a must-have. And as far as forward arc goes, it's still going to be useful to have at least one of these on your ship, maybe two. Honestly, although I would kind of want to have the prolonged engagement on this ship too, for the fire rate, overall fire rate increase, which will equal out DPS, this is still quite useful. If I was willing to drop my bonus that I'm gaining from having all three here, I would have probably put prolong on this, swapped my cannons into beam arrays and gone for broadside on this ship. In fact, personally speaking, I probably would have found that to be more powerful than what I currently am using, and keep that in mind as we go a little further on this. Final statement then is simple. Although these are standard phasers with limitations, meaning you cannot take away that crit hit, you cannot re-engineer the crit hit off it, you cannot re-engineer the proc off this weapon, and the fact that its only proc ability is one random subsystem offline. It would have been nicer to see something like damage resistance debuff or confusing enemy, something along that lines. Because of all this, I'm simply going to go with, well, five out of 10. Why is it 5 out of 10? Because I'm just angry at the limitations put on it. I wish the proc could be re-engineered. I wish the crit hit could be re-engineered. Put them on it, and I'd have given this 9 out of 10. Okay, as far as weapons go, let's gotta say something. That'll give it an extra proc, something special. It needs a little buff, okay? But its sizable extra damage that it deals does, for me, give it some decent credit. So maybe I'm being a little harsh on it. Hell, I want to be harsh on this entire ship because of where it is. You know, in a lockbox. Not even a lockbox even, it's promo ship. It's really where it should not be. And I am kind of disappointed that we didn't get the Shangri-La as well. You watch. Cryptic will release a legendary version of this ship, and that's when they'll give us the TMP era Shangri-La with the extra torpedo tubes at the front, and will then make it a battle cruiser, so it will then have the 5 forward weapons and 3 aft, and maybe they might get a science battle cruiser then and give it a secondary deflector to make it odd. You can tell this area is where I'm frustrated, right? Probably a little bit too obvious, I do apologise. But on the upside, I will state this. All negatives ignored, this ship is very, very good. Lost abilities down here, that should be in there, that's kind of frustrating me. I'll sort that out in a bit. Let's take this ship to the customizer so you guys can have a quick look at how this ship can be customized. Quick bit of customizing aside, and I actually forgot what I was doing. Whoops! Okay, hey look, galaxy skin. Don't you like the way that looks? Constitution 3 obviously doesn't have any real play about with it. Interesting that you can put new patterns on the vents themselves. Left nacelle, left vent, left nacelle, right vent nacelle. Blah, 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 blah. It's like they're really trying to set this up to being able to do something later, except now that they've done that, if they do try to do what I said and introduce the Shangri-La, which has TMP style nacelles. All that would have to be disabled. Yep. Okay. So, as annoying as that might be, we still do have a little bit of fun. No special bridge. What were you expecting? Oh look, you can put some Galaxy style windows on the ship. I feel like that's going to fit with the way I'm about to leave this place. But you also have the Constitution 3, which is this beautiful look for the ship, as you would expect it to be. Defiant, Galaxy, Intrepid, NX, NX Refit, Odyssey. The new Odyssey hull is available on it. Yes. Sagan. To be fair, if that wasn't available on this ship, I would have been raising questions. Sovereign Refit. Personally, that is the better look on this ship, but that's just me. I kind of like having the gold beam strips. I'm weird, I know, shush. Funny seeing beam strips on the ship and ball turrets. It's like they forgot to sort that part out. Finally, let's quick blade down. Got all the other types down here. Type 8B looks pretty nice on this ship, I'll be honest with you. Type 7. Very nice again. It's interesting to see that these are given a gold aesthetic look to them, despite the fact they would normally be black or, I believe, blue. That's quite a nice look, isn't it? Upgrade. Looks old. And of course, if you want to have Type 0 and give this ship its original series aesthetic look, which does actually work on the ship awkwardly, you can do that. Now then, what was I saying? Let's take this ship into action. Peace and quiet at Earth Space Dock for once. Not been surrounded by too much at all. Hello, Eclipse Cars, you beautiful vessel. Yes. Nice, peace, and quiet. So we can go and say... Oh, why am I doing that? I want to be doing this, don't I? I want to be going, hello there. Now, I know some of you are going to be thinking you're an idiot for what I'm about to do as well. But I'm going to try and take a combat log, because I took one earlier and saw how the steadiness went. And every time I'm running at the moment with this new set of consoles, I'm running combat logs as well, just to give me a rough idea. However, I will state this to you guys. Damage output was, quite frankly, awesome. I was very happy with what I was seeing. Alright, fly on over, get us cloaked so we can initially have that drop in effect. Do. Allow power levels to reset themselves and re-stabilize. Oops, 1, 2, go! Fire up madness and blow everything up. Do it! Do it now! Yes! We are insane! You're behind me, I don't like that. Come here. Woo! New firepower! New strain! And like I said, I'm utilizing this new trait, so as long as I'm going fast enough, I'm happy days. Right. Move on to the next location. Gotta do this quick because we have a combat log running. Everything's dropping. Hit hard and hit home. Go on. Rip them to pieces. We can do this. That didn't take too long. Right. Quickly turn ourselves around. Would be nice to be a bit quicker to him. Come on, get that tractor beam locked and remaneuver. And here they come. Blast away. Get ourselves around to the back. And now I'm going to lose that defensive power, but that's fine by me, because all I want to do is destroy you right now. Whoopie days! Come on, set that ability off. Firework Wheel, go mad! Rip them to pieces! My torpedoes are near enough useless right now. That's annoying. Yeah, normally I would be utilizing my torpedoes much more heavily than this, so that is a severe drop in firepower, which really does relate to me needing to maneuver a bit. I'm not using the console. I've just realized I'm not at full strength because 2 consoles are missing. Ah! I hate it when this happens. Twist and fire torpedoes. Twist back. Get all the weapons in alignment. I like how they're all sort of sitting there close to the alignment of the torpedoes as well anyway. So I don't actually have to shift too much when I'm doing this. Doo-doo-dee, salam ole, gonna go blow you up. Not utilizing anywhere near as much firepower as I could be doing. Actually annoying myself at how low this is. Fudge, this output is dangerously low. Shoot. I do apologize, guys. I have messed quite a lot up, actually. Come on, we can rip these guys apart, though. Oh, don't you fly too far ahead of me, you little douchebag. You're not allowed to do that. You come back here, that's what I say. Come here! Yeah, get wrecked. Eat my torpedoes. You don't get to fly away. Scroombags. Who do you think you are? Oh no! Well, I think I did reasonably okay there. Shut up, you moron. No one cares. Not yet, but yeah. Oh, blimey knock. Don't mind me, I'm just grabbing this stuff so I can salvage it. I forgot to do it earlier. Okay, so while this is loading, I'm just going to quickly show you the logs that I have done for this during that specific set of runs. Just a couple I did today for it. Not the greatest, as you will all probably undoubtedly able to tell. But considering I also am not utilising things like duty officers and that, it's just base running. It's interesting to see. The broadside build did nearly 70k. And my original build that I utilised running it did nearly 80k. Distinctively, this is due to low points that bring it down. But I will state this. As much as I still have the spike, normally, after the initial spike, damage drops and it depletes and it stays down with me. It doesn't really start to grow again. However, that has been the most recent change I'm finding. Thanks to the use of these new consoles, the advanced engineering consoles, instead of dropping and then having random spikes that then drop all the way back down again, I'm maintaining this level of growth. Now I believe that if I utilize critical chance correctly, along with the current output, not only can I make this a more steady level, less of a drop down here, but then, as a result, overall improve my DPS output. Especially considering if I go to the other one, you'll see that the same climb and drop happened. There's that initial spike, drops, initial spike, drops, initial spike while I'm in the wrong position, and as I circle around and get myself into the best position possible, it does its growth. As you can see, if this was a maintained combat scenario, I do believe this ship would fight a lot better. So I'm going to try one run. Just one. In a bit. But right now, I want to show you what the console on that can do. And I'm also going to show you a bit of joke. So let's go into here. Please tell me I've got the point defense. Not the point defense. Yes! You. I'm weakening myself by doing this. I know I am, but I don't care. I was actually going to equip Attacking on net. Just switch crit chance and crit severity boosting, but yeah, I went with this in the end. Okay. Hello there. I want to have some fun with you. Hey guys, you know where this is going, right? Yeah. Yep, that's right. I'm gonna do this. And then I'm going to do this. And we're going to find ourselves blasting like none. Yeah, goodbye. I love it, the fact I'm able to hold them into this blooming thing. Right, accelerate. Use the wave and accelerate. Excelsior. I love the fact I've nearly reached this guy with it. Oh, and it got him too. Damn, that's got some range to it. Only just faded away. Look at that damage. This ship isn't even trying. Not even trying. Goodbye. You know what this means, right? I hope you do. What it means is hello. Admittedly, I did do more damage with you. So do I want to utilize you? I think the answer is yes. I will utilize this build and this build's advantages. And all I've got to do is make sure that the two missing abilities are equipped. Get that off. So one to there. I said one to there. And bombardment. Where are you hiding? Come here. Come. Yeah, thank you. Okay, guys. Okay, so this could be positive, this could be negative. Please, guys, do not turn me too much of a new one, because I know I am not very good. Just please keep that in mind. I'm not very good. Oh, I'm gonna get ripped. I don't want to do this. I actually don't want to do it because I know what's coming. We will run an advanced, which means it won't be quite the same. But at least I can gather some level. Be nice to run an elite, but well, I would need a good running party to do that one. Maybe I can get some help from Grumpy Old Nord. Hey, Grumpy! You help me out? Do you know Voggy's back? Can he help me out? Oh, goody! We're going to have some really good friends with us here. Right. Cloak. And ready myself. Ready up impulse. Right, I'm going to set most of my abilities off now. Get you going. I know it's going to be bad because I've got 11 seconds of not doing anything. Shoot me. Target acquired. Go. Oh, someone blasted way further than me. And I deactivated the speed a bit too early. Woohoo! Alright, go, 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 go! Take these burgers down! Go, 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 go! Let's get it ripped in here. We can destroy them all. Tear them to kingdom come and blast it all away. There's a sphere over there, and a sphere above me there. Blow it away, rip it to pieces, we're gonna get on the dancing floor. Come on, take it out. Okay. Rip a new hole. Oops, what was that? Someone's destroyed it. Oh, God. Hello. Yeah, that's not a good thing for me. That's a really bad thing for me, thank you. Don't do that again. Gonna retreat back a little bit. Utilize Firework Wheel as much as possible. This is where I do really badly. Come on. I can do better than this, I know I can. So I'm actually quite frustrated at myself right now. There we go, that's down. Fight Wheel's been keeping my damage output up. And there we go. Destroyed. Destroy. Destroy. Everything's complete. You in and end. Take the fleet marks. Okay. Ow! Dick! That went really badly. Oh! Beam overload. I should have gone beam overload in that. No, I wanted to see what my beam fight will output would have been. So beam overload would have just contradicted that. See, infected 115.86. As for my current chart, okay. Didn't really see the I did, but I didn't. You can see my spike. My spike is nowhere near the same as the DPSs. The DPSs went straight for the roof. They always will. Tactical, utilising critical hits and their best abilities straight off the bat, they're going to. I also got in a little bit late, so I'm not surprised that my spike is not as high. Less damage to input on that first spike. However, that you can see by the time it took for me to get to that point, unlike the rest. The drop off, and then I climb lower as I'm maneuvering around. You can see I'm trying to get to the next side, but then it got destroyed. The tactical cube came next to me, and from their point, I'm climbing again. Climbed nearly as high as the strongest DPSer. Didn't pay attention to what he was flying. But that is interesting to see, and I'm actually very interested in that at the moment, so not too bad. These guys, constant climb. So not actually sure what kind of build they were using. How does that stand for this ship though? Final scores! Well, guys, let me pull it this way. Okay? I'm going to be polite. I actually really like this ship. I wasn't interested in getting it initially. I really wasn't. And then I saw the trait and console and I thought, maybe worth getting. I didn't have some other people's viewpoints on their weapons. I didn't even think the weapons were going to be remotely good. So I'm so glad I got proven wrong there too. Turns out that I really like this ship. And the look, now that I'm flying the ship, the look is growing on me. I wasn't really a fan of it. Correction. I was a fan of the Shangri-La. I wasn't a fan of the Constitution 3. And I think it's just because of the way they've set it up in universe made me dislike it. So, with all that being said, ship had an interesting spot to be in. Now, again, note, this is a promo ship. Support players, The ship scores, I've already told you. Tactical players, DPS players. Sorry, tactical DPS is the same. Tanks. I've said to all of you the ship has for each of our roles. But overall score on this ship. Oh, bless it. I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. And I will acknowledge that it would have been higher if it wasn't another blasted promo ship. Take the promo away from it. Made it a Zenstore ship with the same stats as it currently has, which would have been very nice of Cryptic. They're never going to do it, but it would have been nice. This ship would have easily been near top marks. Absolutely love it. Recommend it to anyone who is an energy DPS player. And I also recommend, well, not dual cannons. The ship can't equip dual cannons for some reason. But, don't know why it can't equip dual cannons. I really think it should be able to. But, no, all that aside. For energy beam builds, if you're a DPS that prefers them, I do recommend this ship to you. If you are a kinetic build player, I will still recommend this ship to you just for its stats alone. Though it would obviously be better for you if it had command. Support players, I would recommend you guys give it a pass. Tanks, this ship is well worth your time picking up. I strongly advise this ship to tanks. With all that being said, thank you for watching, guys. Please, in the comment section below, let me know your thoughts on this wonderful ship. And can I give another thank you to the people credited on screen right now, the donators to the channel, the Patreons, for their incredible generosity and support. And I hope to see you all next time. May Warrior's fortune grace your endeavours. Ciao for now.